opposite of that. To those who refuse to study, to those who refuse to be engaged in that process called learning, which develops scholarship, they are referred to as blockheads, idiots, fools, know-nothing, numbskulls, and even morons. So we have to ask ourselves, in 2014, coming out of 2013, do we want to be scholars or do we want to be morons?
That's right.
So a moron is a person nobody should really take serious or listen to.
That's right.
Now a ship is a rather large vessel adapted for deep water navigation. So when we put these two words together, scholar and ship, we're talking about a person who is learned and who has equipped him and herself with that prerequisite knowledge that is needed to navigate through the waters that we are experiencing in our own personal life. So a learned person is a person who knows how to use knowledge that they have studied, that they have investigated, that they have researched to improve the quality of their own life, their family life, and their community life. Can't say you're a scholar and your life is not improving constantly for the better. So our learning allows us to navigate through deep waters or through harsh trials and harsh tribulations. And as we were present to watch our big brother, Minister Ismail Muhammad, in his lecture on last week, he predicted that 2014 is going to be a dark year.
That's right.
Going to be a turbulent year. So we have to have some type of light in ourselves in order to overcome what's coming down in 2014.
Right.
I was on Facebook earlier today, and one of our final call writers was commenting about research and scholarship, learning, writing. And he said, research is not simply compiling data. Not just simply going, getting a whole lot of information and say, okay, I got all this and being able to quote. But research involves systematic investigation and analysis of content from multiple sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. That is why when you read real research, you'll see the researchers list sources. The internet has made conducting research much quicker, much easier. More information is readily available. You have easy access to it. But still, it should never violate our standards for doing what? Investigating. Because everything on the internet is not true. One of the reasons why I thought about this subject is because as I went and looked on YouTube at some of the critics of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, some of the critics of the Nation of Islam, I looked at them and their criticism. Several things came to mind. First thing Minister Jeffrey said to a group of us in the ministry class a few months ago, he said, don't be so quick to become defensive when you're criticized. He said, in most cases, there is some truth in the criticism. Come on. So I watched a white Christian, a black Christian. White Christian was actually interviewing the black Christian about Minister Farrakhan and his statements concerning the will. They didn't provide any refuting information to anything that the minister had said. They made a statement about the minister, but then immediately they began to attack those of us who said that we followed the minister. The brother said that I was at a convention and I saw some of them going in and I stopped to talk to them And they said, well, man, you should have just been in the room. And he charged the Muslim followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as being emotional or sensational Muslims. He said people become overwhelmed by being in the room with this icon. And so he was basically writing off that the Muslim followers on the Farrakhan are not really serious critical thinkers. They're just emotional people. They like the hoorah. That's some truth to that.
Yeah. Come on.
He said that the brothers that he talked to said, only thing they said was, you should have been in there. You should have been there. Now, I don't know whether these were Muslim scholars he was talking to in the nation. They could have not had time to deal with his foolishness. We don't have time to run down and debate and explain to every nook and cranny that comes around trying to please their master and attack us. But there's a possibility it could have been people that didn't have real answers saying that they followed their minister. So our scholarship, our learning, our ability to explain what we say and believe, very, very important, very critical. Especially as this big flood comes. See, the reality is, when we go into the prisons and preach and teach, and brothers get out of prison and they don't report to the nearest mosque or study group, they quit attending Jumu'ah, that's a manifestation of the flood of propaganda and the flood of the curve of this world that has taken them away from the Quran, from Islam. And if we're not studious, anybody can say something, and if we have not studied, if we're not in the business of studying, what they say can become a flood of propaganda that would take us away from our own salvation.
That's right.
So this is why 2014, we must push over the ideal of studying. The prophet said what? He said that the ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr.
Come on.
He said we should seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, even if we have to travel to far off China. He said what? A Muslim is one who what? Who investigates. That's study, that's research, that's scholarship. And if we're not about the business of that, people could come around and say anything. As they said that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said that he is a poet. Stories of the ancient, a madman. How did this affect those believers who were with him who had not studied? Huh? How does it affect our work in the community when we do not study? Right? The minister has began to really, really defy the scholars of this world, which is ruled by Satan. I mean, he calling Satan out. Period. He challenging everything and everybody. Traditional thought and belief in the Jewish community, in the Christian community, in the Muslim community. He ain't letting nothing slide. Well, he calling Satan out. He knows the history of Satan. He knows Satan's diabolical history. When you call Satan out, Satan comes out fighting, killing, destroying everything. That's why none of the prophets could deal with Satan. He killed them, destroyed their message, crucified their message. Whatever tradition they brought, destroyed them, destroyed their community, their writings, the books, or the revelation that they brought. And Farrakhan knows this, yet he still is calling Satan out of his hiding place. What does that mean for you and I?
Come on.
Who say that we are with Farrakhan, but we have not studied.
Come on.
We hear Minister Farrakhan, we cheer him up. That's right, it's my man. We fail to realize that all of us have a responsibility of developing our scholarship.
That's right.
We cannot ride forever on the scholarship or the revelation of the minister.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? His words, his wisdom does not absorb us from study and research. In fact, we should be studying and researching to help him and to free him up so that he can do what he really wants to do,
Right.
which is right.
Come on.
You know, he's out there fighting. He don't have the time to sit down and really put the pen down because we are not developing our scholarship. Okay? You know, so the minister is like, you know, he's like David calling out this big Goliath. And his name is what? Farrakhan. He is the discrimination, the standard, and the criteria. And he has already set the example through his own study. Even though the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him he didn't have to study, which meant revelation will be coming from him through him.
Mm-hmm.
But still the minister studies. Today, the minister studies.